What's going on, guys? It's your boy King 2 Notorious here, and today we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be reviewing a ND1 2017 Miata. It's been out for what, 7 years now, and they've made 2 iterations since then. I mean, same body style, but the ND2 and the ND3. So I thought it would be nice if I hopped back in an ND1 to see what it's like 7 years later. Now today, the only downside to this specific Miata is it's not a manual transmission, but besides that, I think I could talk about every single thing else that I like and dislike about this car. So let's get into it. First thing that I'm going to be talking about today actually is going to be the cabin space. Honestly, I'm a 6'1" male, and I'm pushing the limits at 185 pounds in this cabin, but it's not too bad. It's just that after a while, I've noticed that it's just not as comfortable as other cars, like, you know, even the BRZ, for instance. Nice S2K right there, you see that? But besides that, like, honestly, it's a pretty comfortable ride. I would say that the suspension in this is a lot more lenient when it comes to over bumps and stuff in the road than it is the BRZ 8.6 platform. I do like that, because the second you do take those corners, it tightens up pretty quickly. It makes for a very comfortable but fun ride when you want it to. You know, it's not over the top where you're breaking your back after 20 minutes driving in the city roads where they're not too good. Another thing that I do want to talk about with the interior here, and this is a personal experience, I don't know if all Miatas ND1 went through this, but this particular Miata mapping, and what would happen is you'd get in the car, you'd put in your Bluetooth, and then it would shut it right out, and then it would restart the screen. And a fix to that is right here. I don't know if you can see, but there's a SIM card in there. You can take that out completely and it'll stop the updates from happening. Besides that, I mean, I do like the seats. One drawback with the seats is that they have no core support. So like I said, after about, I'd say 45 minutes to an hour, you start to feel it in your back. You're like, damn, man, I could really use a little bit more support back here. But I think that for this particular car, it's not really about being comfortable. It's about having fun. You know, you're usually going to be in a sports car from anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes. And if you're taking it to the track, maybe even less per the time you're on track and doing hot laps, you know? So in particular, I mean, I wouldn't really degrade this car for not being comfortable, because like I said, the suspension is actually very, very surprising when it comes to big bumps in the road. Elsewhere, it just, you know, it makes up for that. Another thing that I want to talk about with this car is that for a sports car, I know people say it's a little bit underpowered, but the handling characteristics that you get with this car compared to most cars that are in the category, you know, $25,000 to $35,000 cars new, I don't think they keep up. The only competitor in this category would be the 8.6 platform. And quite frankly, I mean, I'm a BRZ brother myself, but I will say that the refinement on the Miatas are just so in tune, because they've been producing these cars for over 20 years, you know? So it really makes for a really good driving dynamic when you're trying to have fun with the car, when you're just trying to cruise through the city, even get groceries. Now, this car isn't the biggest grocery getter, but it does, I mean, I've taken it to Costco a few times, I'm not gonna lie, and it will do the job. It will suffice, you know, on day-to-day duties. You can daily drive this car. Now, is it a smaller car in the road? Yeah. And do you have to be a little bit more defensive? Yeah. But at the end of the day, you get to drive something that's a little bit more fun than most cars on the streets. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to look into when considering buying their first sports car, and maybe not having a daily driver as a second car, you know? I think personally with me, I hopped into a sports car and I daily it everywhere. It's a very easy thing to do. I mean, now moving and big furniture and bigger pieces, yeah, you may need a truck, but how often are you gonna need a truck? And that's up to you and your life, honestly, and what you're doing on your day-to-day. This car, I mean, for a 7-year-old car and them producing with the ND3, this car pretty much has everything that that car has, except for the refinements that we've talked about. You know, the steering feel isn't completely there. The infotainment, like I said, is a complete disaster until the ND3, I believe, is when they updated it. And that new screen does look very nice, and I'm very happy that they did that, because this screen is ridiculous. Now, the center console and the way you can get through the screen and stuff like that, that's honestly a plus. I like it. It's very easy to use, you know. Once you get it, you get it. But like I said, the infotainment in the ND1's just, it wasn't it. It was not it. Talking about the ND3, I mean, if you look at these cars from the outside, I believe there's a few subtle differences between the 2016, 2017 model and the 2024 model, which would be, I think the headlights are a little different. The front, the fog lights are different. And I believe that's really it with the characteristics on the outside. I mean, I haven't really been able to tell, to be honest with you, but I'm going to be someone that's going to sit here and tell you, like, as much as people are saying that these cars are slow, they're not fast, they, you know, a Prius is going to beat it. I mean, they are not the fastest car. If you're looking for a track car, you know, something that's fun with curvy back roads, this is the car for you. You know, this car definitely helped me pick what car I was going for when I was looking for cars personally. You know, I know the owner personally of this vehicle, so I've actually been able to drive this vehicle quite a lot. And when I got in this car for the first time, I was like really surprised on everything about it, you know, even down to the gas mileage. Like, most sports cars nowadays don't even get over 15 miles a gallon. This one averages 29 miles a gallon, which is ridiculous, you know, especially when you have to put premium gas in. And you don't want to have to put premium gas in your car every single other day, I don't think, you know, especially in this economy right now, you know. But the car itself is just such a good car. It's an all-around car that you can hop into, you can do your daily tasks, you can go hit the back road, have fun, you can go on a little road trip. You know, I wouldn't say do a road trip any more than 2-3 hours, because that's when the back pain starts to kick in. I mean, even then, you're still going to enjoy yourself with all the other things that the car has to offer. Even right now, it's kind of hot, but a hard top retractable roof, come on. You know, what car for sub 40K are you getting a hard top retractable roof with? You know, now if I was going to compare this car to my BRZ, there's a few things that I like more about this car than my BRZ, and a few things that I like about my BRZ over this car. And one thing about this car that I do like is the sound system. I don't know if you guys are aware, but these seats actually have surround sound Bose speakers built into the headrest, so you get a relatively good sound out of this small little car. You know, I actually enjoy it a lot, because I love listening to music. When I'm not talking to you guys or talking to other people, I'm listening to music, you know. Another thing that I like about this car is honestly how many people give you the thumbs up when you're driving it. You know, I feel like the community that comes with this car, and the Miata community in general, is probably one of the better car communities you can get into. You know, you're gonna have people that have been in it for 20 plus years that are old heads, and you have people that are getting in it just right now. Along with that, the parts for these cars and the accessibility to these cars is amazing. You know, you have a huge community that loves to support each other, and people are actively building parts for these cars to make them better. So it's an amazing platform to be building off of, you know, just like the 86 platform. I would say that they're pretty equal when it comes to the amount of people wanting to produce parts to better the car, you know. And that's something that, like, I do see in the Miata community, and sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I got a Miata, you know. But, you know, maybe in the future. Another thing that I like, though, about this car in particular is the paint. I honestly will tell you that Subaru paint is ridiculous, like ridiculously thin. This car is honestly, I wouldn't say it's amazing paint, but compared to my car, which is 3 years newer than it, this paint job is way better than my paint job, and way thicker of a paint line. You can tell just by the depth of the paint, the clear coat and everything. I feel like the smallest little nick and you scratch the paint in my car, which is ridiculous. Like, Subaru, you guys need to get it together. I know it's for weight savings or whatnot, but obviously Mazda did something right with this car, because it's lighter than the BRZ, and they have better paint. Now, something that I don't like about this car, and I feel like they could have updated honestly with the new generations, and this is a nitpicky thing, but right here, the AC unit controls, they just look outdated. And if you go look into the ND3 Miata, they still are the same controls. If you look in the second generation BRZ, they changed the knobs to knobs with numbers on it and stuff like that. I mean, that would be the way that I would go with the car, is have knobs with numbers on it, make it a little bit easier. But that's a nitpicking thing. Like, another thing that I don't like about this car is the seats. Like, after a while, you're gonna be a little bit sore, you know. It's not the most blissful ride with the seats in particular. Now, the suspension's better, but the seats in particular, yeah, you can't go on long road trips without getting out of the car a few times and stretching. You know, it's just not meant for that. But like, overall, this car is just an amazing car. I really think that it should be a lot of people's first entry sports cars. I think it's a good car that will allow people to understand that power is not everything, and you know, you can still get into a lot of trouble with these cars. I'm not saying speed wise, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to break the back end out of it, you know. And look how many Miatas and BRZs are falling victim to crashes. All right, I think right now BRZs is top 10 in the country for crashes. It's pretty ironic with a 200 horsepower engine, right? Such a such a slow car. And I think that, honestly, I just really think that we need to really like revamp the community, get people out of the Mustangs and the actual high horsepower cars, and show them the enjoyability with the low horsepower, nimble, fun cars that you can take around back roads, and you can hit a corner going 60, you know, knowing damn well the car behind you would fly off the road. And that's just something, in my opinion, that's more fun for me. You know, obviously right now, is this real fun driving in a straight line city? It's not the most fun, but you know, it really does show you that this is a dailyable car. You know, I'm not driving on slick, nice streets right now. I'm honestly driving on whatever. And yeah, overall, this car is just so good. Like, that's if there's something that you guys can take away from this video, I would honestly state that this car is so good, and this is coming from an owner of a BRZ. You know, I guess they're like yin and yang. Some of us would say that we're competitors, but I honestly think both cars are amazing cars. I love the Miatas. If I didn't get a BRZ, I probably would have gotten a Miata. But you know, I wanted the back seats and the extra room, and that's really what took my decision elsewhere, really. I mean, if you need extra space, or you're ever gonna need little back seats for babies or whatnot, or just to store some stuff, then maybe the Miata is not the one for you. But if you just see yourself going to, you know, maybe you're going to college and you're just trying to get to class and pick up some groceries on the way home, well, that trunk's big enough for some groceries and definitely will get you to class. You can even pick up a friend while you're at it, you know, and enjoy yourself with the top down. On that note, guys, I hope everybody has a good rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you in the next video.